I haven't done a John Mayer video in a long, long time. So it's about time. Hello everyone, it's Super Jesus Jackson back at it again with yet another video back on the channel. This time we are revisiting John Mayer, specifically his song, Daughters. It is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever listened to. The lyrics are powerful. They are so universal and, kind of almost, they'll last until the end of time, really. And the music is so minimal, but yet it's so effective. I need to do more John Mayer videos. I know you guys love those, so I figured I'd give you another one. But we're going to do a reaction to this song, and then we're going to look at the lyrics, we're going to analyze the music, that sort of thing. Hopefully that is fun for you. But before we do, make sure you give this video a like, and you subscribe to the channel to let me know that you want to see more stuff like this. And let me know in the comment section below what other John Mayer song you would like me to react to next.
Know a girl, she puts the color inside of my world, but she's just like a maze, where all of the walls are continually change.
The melody's so good, man.
And I've done all I can to stand on the steps with my heart in my hand. Now I'm starting to see maybe it's got nothing to do with me.
No, it doesn't.
Fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too.
Amazing songwriting. Oh. Love the arrangement, instrumentation, the panning of the instruments is fantastic.
Oh, you see that skin? It's the same she's been standing in.
Oh, it's a good lyric.
Since the day she saw him walking away, now she's left cleaning up the mess he made. So fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too.
Subtle background vocals there.
Boys you can break.
Oh.
You find out how much they can take.
Wow.
Boys will be strong and boys soldier on, but boys would be gone without one for a woman's good.
Beautiful guitar there. Oh, and the piano. There we go.
On behalf of every man, looking out for every girl, you are the God and the weight of her world. So fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. So mothers, be good to your daughters too.
Wow. Oh my God. such an effective track. You know, so minimalistic. You know, just an acoustic, you know, a couple of 3 acoustic guitars, maybe 2, I don't know, just panned. The arrangement is just, it's beautiful, and what carries the song really is its instrumentation and the vocal melody, really. You know, it's got to have an interesting vocal melody in there if it's going to be so minimalistic, right? And it totally delivers. I don't even know where to start with this. You know what I mean? Like, I know, I guess we could start a little bit with the instrumentation. I love the chord progression of the song, but I really just love the way that it begins. It is just so impactful. Right from the very moment it begins, it just catches you, it grabs you, right? And then, you know, we move forward and we hear John Mayer's first verse and the vocal melody there, and it is just so amazing. Da, da da da, da 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 da. You could play with like a guitar and it'd be amazing. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da da dee da, ba da 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 da. Da, 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 da. It is such a beautiful journey. It makes perfect sense, you know. Please do not take for granted songwriters that create a perfect melodic journey, okay, from the beginning of the verse to the chorus. And that is what John Mayer does. I love specifically the, and I done all I can. I love that, da-da. It's so good, along with the instrumentation, the guitar, it's brilliant. And then, of course, you know, we have the chorus, and it is just fantastic. Ba-dee-dee-da, ba-dee-da-dee, ba-dee-dee-da-dee-dee-da, ba-dee-dee-da-dee, ba-dee-dee-dee-da-dee, ba-doo-dee-dee-da, boo-dee-da-dee-da. I mean, come on, like, I'm telling you, it's just John Mayer's vocals and his melodies. You could just play with any instrument, and it's amazing. It sounds like he's just riffing with a saxophone or a guitar or a piano, and it is just so captivating and moving. You know, and I think, and this goes more in line with the sort of, you know, the analysis of the lyrics a little bit and the themes of the song, but the song itself, you know, it's very minimalistic. It's very, you know, kind of gentle. And the vocal melody is so pure, almost the chorus is gorgeous, you know, it just has this sensitivity to it, which makes sense given that he's talking about, you know, femininity. He's talking about love from a woman, you know, and it's just beautiful because, I mean, as a man, I can say that that is the type of love that you receive, right? And so I love that the song, you know, embodies all of that, you know, and it goes a little bit, in the bridge, becomes a little bit more, you know, just kind of loud and a little bit more confident, a little bit more boisterous, which makes sense given that it is a dude, you know, writing the song and it's singing the song. So that even makes sense, you know, everything about the song really embodies the two genders very, very well. God, and that bridge chord progression there is just brilliant.
Boys you can break, you find out how much they can take.
And you gotta love, too, the sort of background vocals that he does throughout the song, too. It's quintessential John Mayer, but it really adds to the warmth. It feels like a warm blanket, you know? But let's head right into the lyrics of the song, and I'm going to pull up the lyrics here to the side of me or somewhere, you know, depending on how I end up doing it, but let's take a look at them. All right, so we got, I know a girl. She puts the color inside of my world, but she's just like a maze where all the walls all continually change, and I've done all I can to stand on the steps with my heart in my hand. Now I'm starting to see maybe it's got nothing to do with me. So I will say, you know, as a man, I have noticed at least a couple times in my life, really this one time it was huge where I was dating this girl, and by dating, maybe I thought it was dating, but I don't think she saw it as dating. But this was a person who didn't have like a father, right? And I'm not here to generalize. I'm not here to make a video and talk about how, just everyone has to have a man in their life and everyone has to have a father. But I do think to a certain extent it is important for me, for example, even as a guy, I didn't really have the father figure that I wish I had, or that I really needed, I guess. And I really suffered because of that. And so with this girl, I noticed, like it felt like I was walking on eggshells all the time. This person just, I don't know, it was almost like she was very overly confident. She was overly almost egotistical and always had a shield protecting herself. Maybe she went through a lot of, kind of emotional damage in her life. I'm not sure. But this person was very guarded. This person lashed out. It was very much like, it was like an animal, like fighting back, and it's like a person that wasn't used to, gentle love in a way. But it's such a weird thing, right? Because she was very, she was very rude, very stubborn, very just dry and kind of difficult to talk to sometimes, just difficult to engage with, right? It's like she doubled down on all the things that make men, masculine, right? Like you think of a man as very stubborn, very hard, harsh, right? Rigid, sort of difficult to deal with, that sort of thing. And because I think because she didn't have this father figure in her life, she doubled down on that herself and was overly masculine in many ways to compensate for the fact that she never had a father, right? Or she did, but just not the father she deserved, right? And I could tell, she was kind of very bitter about it. It's interesting the way, some people, that they become too overly sensitive. I'm not sure, some people double down, with masculine features and characteristics. Things that we associate with masculinity to make up for whatever, but it's really interesting, right? And so I definitely understand how, this person that you have in front of you is so great, so amazing, but you start to see lyrics like, she's just like a maze where all the walls all continually change. That's how I felt, you know what I mean, with this person. Where like, I just felt like I never won. I always felt like I was chasing something, I always felt like I was working hard, to talk to this person. I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Everything changes. It's just chaos, you know what I mean? And it's really difficult to deal with. And so I totally understand that. But moving on here, we get into the chorus, fathers, be good to your daughters. And really this chorus is brilliant, just lyrically, the way that it is, right? Fathers, be good to your daughters. Be there for them, right? Essentially, too. That's very important. Don't just leave. Daughters will love like you do, which makes sense because if you don't really have a father that is loving or that is there, that daughter will then, proceed to love in a weird way, and in a way that might not be very comfortable. Everyone loves differently. Some people, they just love in a really harsh way, or they're just difficult to engage with. And, that love that they're supposed to show you is just not there, or it's not the way that it needs to be. And girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. And I like how he does that, because the song ultimately is about daughters, and both parties, both fathers and mothers really take into, are important into this equation, and also with men too, you could put this song for a man too. I think having a father figure for a man is especially important, but obviously a mother figure. I mean, that is the gentility, it's the yin and yang, and I guess this is where I will stump into the, it's 2024. I think the discussions on gender and masculinity and femininity, of course, are a little bit more nuanced now, but I do think there is still a place to a certain extent. It's still important to embody masculinity and femininity in however you embody it, whether you're a man or a woman or whatever. Because whatever they stereotypically represent, masculinity, confidence, more physicality, more assertiveness, discipline, or whatever things you want to associate with that, whatever it is, and then all the things you want to associate with femininity, you want to put those together to be an effective, human being. You know what I mean? Like, as a father, as a man, you don't want to be too masculine, because if you're too masculine, girls ain't gonna like you. That's number one. No, I know some girls like the bad boys, but they learn eventually, right? So you kind of need everything, when you're, disciplining your children, you know what I mean? When you're talking to your wife, you need a little bit of femininity in there. You can't just be too masculine. And on the contrary, you don't want to be too feminine, either, so a good balance really, I think is the most effective human being. And it's that yin and yang, right? And that, masculinity, I think is good in a woman as femininity is good in a man. And for that, I do think that to a certain extent, you need the mother and the father figure. And obviously just in this context, sort of in heteronormative way of thinking, this I think is the way to do it. Of course, there is masculinity and femininity and fatherhood and motherhood that can be found in same-sex relationships as well. So, but specifically just in the heteronormative, which obviously this song is mostly focusing on, I do think that, you got to have a little bit of both in there. And so I like how John Mayer puts that in the chorus, in the lyrics. I do think that men, specifically, they're better men when they have a little bit of femininity in them, when they have a soft spot, when they, because I think it allows you to love better as a man. I really do think that. And I think with women, I love femininity. I think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing. But definitely when a woman has had enough of your shit, she'll be masculine, all right? You know what I mean? And a little bit adopt a little bit of that. I've had enough, kind of push you away. I don't know, I'm probably being a little bit too personal here in this discussion, but I mean, it's true. Everyone embodies a little bit of both, at some point in their lives. Verse 2, we have, "Oh, you see that skin? It's the same she's been standing in since the day she saw him walking away. Now she's left cleaning up the mess he made." And that is true, especially men, when you don't have the father, you end up cleaning the mess he made, and that's what I'm doing, And that's in general. When you don't have effective parents, you end up having to do a lot of things yourself and find, learn and navigate the world yourself in whatever way you possibly can. Because you didn't have those role models in the way that you needed to have them. And so I think, especially daughters, right? When they don't have a father figure, they end up having to make do with what they have, and they have to clean up that mess. Then we have the chorus again, and we have the bridge here, which is interesting. "Boys you can break, you find out how much they can take. Boys will be strong and boys soldier on, but boys would be gone without warmth from a woman's good heart." That is so true. It's guys that, they would go along, they would survive in the world, they would, be alive for a bit. But at the end of the day, man, it would be absolute chaos and it would be almost purposeless. A world would be purposeless without a woman, without femininity. Present in there. You can be strong all day and whatnot, but like, if you don't have warmth, and that pure love to fall back on, when things get rough, it's awful. It's a very, very hellish reality. And I think, any man agrees with that when they think of their mother, you know what I mean? Like their mother, the hug of their mother, a kiss of their mother, the affirmation of their mother will do wonder. It just does wonders, and it really softens you up. And it's such a beautiful contradiction, right? And that's what life is all about. That's what a life worth living is all about. It's about that contradiction, that keeps us going. And I think for women as well, they in many ways, women do need that rock, that masculine rock, to kind of rely on. When things get too chaotic or too emotional, you know what I mean? It's all a balance. It's all a beautiful balance. "On behalf of every man looking out for every girl, you are the God and the weight of her world." See, that's interesting. I mean, I think that line right there, he probably wouldn't write it in 2024. But I do think to a certain extent, the women that I've been with, in a certain extent, they do view the man as sort of their God in a way. And that's something sort of that gets played with, and it's not obviously literal, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously not literal, but it is this thing where they kind of look up to you, at least for something, in some instances. But on the contrary, I will say as well, or actually on the same coin, I think that men, at least I do, I viewed women as goddesses. You know what I mean? In my relationships, when you find the right woman as a man, you get to a point where you view that woman as a goddess, you know, as your god, you know, something that you worship and you take care of and you hold and you protect, you know what I mean? Like, and if anyone were to damage that person, you would just rain hell on them, you know what I mean? Like, and so I think to a certain extent, men feel that way with women as well. I mean, I think guys, you know, see their mothers as goddesses, right? You know what I mean? Like, in this case, he's just said it only for as the way that women see men. But, you know, it's a very brave lyric, honestly, I think, to put in there, specifically with how things are, at least. But back in the day, it was fine to I mean, this song won a freaking Grammy, you know what I mean? So, but nowadays, I think he would have thought twice putting a line like that in there, which is interesting. So fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Yep. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. Mothers, be good to your daughters too. It's beautiful. I mean, it's all a cycle, right? It's all a cycle. Everything feeds itself, and everything has to work in tandem in order for things to be fully effective. Really, really fantastic stuff here. You know, I probably went way too long here with this analysis, but it's how I truly feel, and it's how I analyze this song, and it's why this song is so powerful to me. It's an interesting song, again, to play in 2024, just because things have become so kind of blurry with gender now. You know, it's just kind of like whatever. So when you create a song specifically focusing on women and men, you know, I think it's kind of outdated at this point, you know, but I'm still going to love a song like this because I think it's still universal. And, you know, the ideas of women and men, of what they are and what they represent, I don't think are ever going to go away. They're just going to change and be, and, you know, and might be a little bit more fluid or whatever we might kind of embrace. I think back in the day, you know, I think men were a little too masculine to their detriment, you know what I mean? So I think, you know, that the right man is the one that embodies a little bit of femininity, you know, that gets it in their system. And same thing with women, you know, you got to have contradiction in there, I think, to be an effective human being. I truly do believe that. And I mean, effective, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, to live a life, I think, worth living. I really do think that. All the characteristics that we associate with, you know, these two genders, you know, are very important to live a fulfilling and a loving and a powerful life, you know, and that's how I think. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Daughters by John Mayer. Go ahead and comment down below what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Write in the comment section below. I'd love to have a conversation. Give this video a like if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, of course, especially if you disliked it. Go ahead and comment below and let me know, you know, why you don't agree with me. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. You want to see more like this. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you, you beautiful creature. But that's it for me. You all take care, stay safe, and until next time, I love you.